So I thought it was time again. I really did think it was time again. I saw one of you guys post on one of my last AFL videos asking me to make more. Again, I don't know why you guys love my cute 5'8", chubby, fat ass so much, but I'm absolutely here for it. I thought it was time again to make a new AFL video again. I've got all my Richmond stuff on. We got my Richmond hat, my Richmond Guernsey. God, I look like a fucking virgin. And I've got my number. I don't know if you can see it. My mic's in the way. Shit. I got my number 7 on my back, which is the number that I've worn in all of my sport, and it's my glorious king, Liam Baker's number, who we're going to be starting off with today, because obviously we know there are a lot of rumours going around that Liam Baker is going to be going off to Perth. So in my way too early AFL trades and rumours part 2, we're going to be starting off with Liam Baker. Again, ton of rumours. Out of contract Tiger Liam Baker is said to be drawing rival interest ahead of the 2024 season, with several Victorian clubs reportedly eyeing the Western Australian. According to reports from John Ralph of the Herald Sun, a soon-to-be full-time midfielder, which again, this report was actually, I believe, before the season started. They've only tripled since this one came out. We know he is a full-time midfielder now. The soon full-time midfielder is said to is said to be keen to put contract talks on hold at the present to gauge where the Tigers stand under Adam Uze's new management. Well, we know where the Tigers stand, and it's fucking where North Melbourne is, which is pretty bad because goddamn, North Melbourne are worse than... Look, I'm pretty sure the Frankston Dolphins and Southport Sharks would probably touch North Melbourne without consent. Really, any given game. Again, Richmond they're bottom 2 now. Very quite possibly going to finish last. There's every chance that they do, especially considering I think they've got a way harder fixture than North Melbourne. They got to win sometimes, right? Fuck, they haven't won all season. Please, someone just give North Melbourne fans a chance. Liam Baker is being linked to Fremantle. He's being linked to West Coast. From the rumours and speculation, it's being said that this man is going to be earning about 1.1 to 1.4 million a year. You guys at home might be thinking, that's a lot for a player who is near All-Australian level. Again, he's not an All-Australian. He's near it though. Is he worth that much? Well, let's be honest here. In today's day and age where all these players are getting a lot more money, the CBA went up, I think. Again, they're charging fucking $14 for a hot dog at the MCG. They can afford to pay these players a lot. The salary cap is only going to be getting way higher, and you're starting to see these deals come out. Again, Stu McCluggage rumored to be getting 1.3 to 1.4 million. McCluggage is in the same boat as Liam Baker, a near All-Australian player who plays a massive role. Again, why Baker is so special and why so many teams want him is, even though he averages about 22, 23 touches a game, it's just the 888 things that he can also do. You can send Liam Baker down forward and he'll be one of the best pressure forwards in the game, get you 16 touches any game, which is extremely elite for a small forward, and kick a goal or 2 every game, right? You can play him in the midfield where he's going to give you 23 disposals, be one of the best runners out there, be one of the best pressure tacklers out there, all these type of things. Or you can put him off half-back where if you were to put Liam Baker on the West Coast Eagles half-back line, who I think are still looking for a run and dash carry half-back, don't be surprised if this guy was to average 20 to 25 touches a game at West Coast off a half-back. Again, I believe he should probably go to the Eagles. I think Fremantle have enough down at half-back. They've also got enough in the midfield. I believe if Baker went to the Fremantle Dockers, it would probably be the forward line, which I think is where he's least effective out of the 3 positions. And if we're not counting ruck, obviously, because I don't think he'd be that good in the ruck, but that's just my personal opinion. I don't know, maybe Liam Baker might be the next Max Gawn, right? The thing is, at West Coast though, God, Liam Baker would be good. You look at West Coast and how they're going, there's a couple of things that they need. One of the biggest things, I think, in my opinion, is a run and carry half back. which Liam Baker would be fantastic at. And if you don't want to play him there and you want to play him as a full-time midfielder, oh my God, a midfield of Elliot Yeo, Harley Reid, Liam Baker, Ruben Jinby, and whoever they probably draft at pick 3 or 4 this year would probably want to make me touch myself inappropriately. Again, what would the Tigers get back? If I was the Eagles, I'd be pretty happy to send off my future first-round pick for Liam Baker, especially if you're re-signing Elliot Yeo. Again, that Eagles team becomes very good if you bring in Baker. As I just said, another year to Harley Reid, a near all-Australian player in Liam Baker, another top 5 pick amongst all these really good young players we now are starting to see come back for the Eagles. Obviously, that's a team that's going to greatly rise up the ladder if you bring in Liam Baker, another top 5 pick, and all this type of stuff, right? The other player I wanted to talk about is Jack Graham. Jack Graham was also linked to the West Coast Eagles. Unfortunately, Jack Graham really just doesn't have a role in Richmond, and it doesn't work out. Again, he desperately needs a fresh start, and we got to think about this dude was a really elite young player in Richmond's premiership teams, and also finished second in their best and fairest at one point. It was one of their best players in their road to the finals in 2022 before injury. We got to remember as well, Jack Graham can still be a really good player. So they were able to bring in Jack Graham for a future third or something. Again, Baker, Graham, a top 5 pick, and the young core having another year at West Coast, a re-signing of Elliot Yeo. Yeah, I don't think that team's going to be in 16 for much longer. Something tells me that team is going to very much rise amongst the ranks, right? So will they go after Jack Graham? I'm not sure. I think Baker would be perfect for them. Will Baker re-sign at Richmond? I don't think so. I still hope so, because obviously there's a future captaincy riding on this. If Baker were to re-sign at Richmond, I have no doubts that he'd be the captain of Richmond next year. So it'd be interesting. There's also the fact that he bought a $2.5 million property in Perth. But yeah, enough about Liam Baker. It's very obvious that that's the team who's going to be linked to him. Again, it's also being said that by Tom Morris, that Rory Lobb is expected to request a trade from the Western Bulldogs. He would like to stay in Victoria, and there are a ton of teams interested in him. Again, from what I've heard, Collingwood are the main ones. Lobb would be perfect on Collingwood, but it's also it's going to be interesting to see what would his place be on Collingwood, because the players have something really unique where they have Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox float through the rucks. And I know Mason Cox gets a lot of shit and a lot of hate, but I low-key fuck with him. I low-key like how Mason Cox plays. I think he's actually a good player. And I'm a Richmond fan, and I'm saying that, right? Darcy Cameron as well. Rory Lobb is going to be specially made to be a forward who plays 25% in the ruck. He's not going to be able to do that at Collingwood. He'd probably only play 5 to 10% in the ruck. The thing is, will that hurt him as a player? Maybe. If he leaves to the Dogs, he's going to want to go to a team where it's the perfect role for him. If he thinks he's a full-time key forward, full forward, maybe it would work on the Pies. But there are other teams. Again, North Melbourne, they're highly interested. They're still looking for a second option to put with Cherry and then obviously Larkey. Callum Coleman-Jones just was not able to recreate some of the young spurt bursts that he had at Richmond. He did not do any of that at North Melbourne, and I think he did his ACL and is out for a long time or hurt his knee. Rory Lobb would be kind of cool on North Melbourne as well. That would be a way he would definitely fit. And then obviously there's a couple other teams. I still think Richmond would be a cool team to maybe see Rory Lobb go to, especially if they can get him for cheap. If not, maybe not. And then Hawthorn another team. Going to be looking for another key forward. Mitch Lewis is more injured than I watch Tate McRae videos on TikTok because she's pretty hot, right? I couldn't really think of anything there. Again, Rory Lobb on Hawthorn would make sense as well. They've got Chol doing that stuff, and I still think Chol is best kept as a main key forward. He has to jump in the ruck sometimes. Lobb can go and fill that. So yeah, in my opinion, maybe Hawthorn. Maybe Hawthorn's the spot to maybe see Chol, right? The other one we also have is Cam Zurhaar. A ton of reports of Cam Zurhaar being linked to Sydney. He even said we haven't even played round 1 yet. This was a bit ago as well. And I get these questions and it's pretty ridiculous to me. Unfortunately, Cam, the reason you're getting these questions about your contract situation is because you basically roasted Jason Horne-Francis to his face over the media and said, "Get fucked. Why are you leaving us, man? What's going on, you traitor?" He didn't actually say that. I'm definitely exaggerating a little bit, but it'd be a bit hypocritical if Cam Zurhaar roasted Jason Horne-Francis for leaving and then decided, hey, I'm going to go leave a couple years later when we're in arguably a worse spot and the worst spot the team has nearly ever been in. So, again, I know Sydney are really linked. I'm telling you right now, I don't necessarily think Sydney are going to go for him. I think they're going to really prioritise keeping Will Hayward and making sure he doesn't go to like Carlton and Melbourne. Because in my opinion, I think Will Hayward is a lot better player than what Cam Zurhaar is. And I think this is kind of proven by the fact that there are a lot more teams interested in Will Hayward. Again, speaking of Will Hayward, he's linked to Carlton and obviously Melbourne. I think Will Hayward will re-sign, so I don't think there's much to talk about there. But I still think Zurhaar would be kind of perfect for a team like Freo. He's from WA. Freo have one of the best midfields in the game, extremely young and talented. They've got a really good backline all of a sudden. Alex Pearce and Luke Ryan and a ton of other guys down there. The only thing I think they're kind of missing out is their forward line lacks some firepower. They definitely need a couple of small forwards here and there. Again, as I said, Baker they're interested in. It's probably why they're interested in Baker, to put him in the forward line. But I think they maybe even need just another goal kicker, another marking option down there. And I guess Cam Zurhaar would kind of be cool for that team. So I guess that makes sense. And again, speaking on Will Hayward, yeah, he'll re-sign with Sydney. I got really no doubts at this point. I think they're going to offer him a ton of money. I think they're going to withdraw their interest in Cam Zurhaar and just be like, look, we can get this guy. We can get a better guy here. We'll have to pay a bit more probably, but he's already under our system. He's under our nose. Let's just re-sign Gordon Hayward, right? Gordon Hayward. What the fuck am I talking about? Anyway, that's probably time to end this video. Where am I going? I think it's because I just made a Gordon Hayward video previously, but Will Hayward is what I'm trying to say. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please make sure to leave a like. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Where are these players going? All this type of stuff. Subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/following channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.